They locked his body behind steel bars, concrete walls, and armed guards. They stripped him of sunlight, of freedom, of time. For 27 years, the world moved forward while his life stood still. And yet, when he finally walked out of that prison, he was the freest man in the room. Not because the door opened, but because his heart already had. The story of a man who proved that forgiveness is not weakness, it is the most dangerous form of power. This message matters because most prisons are invisible. They don't have bars. They live inside us. They are built from resentment, anger, betrayal, and wounds that never healed. This story speaks to anyone who has been hurt and feels justified holding on. Anyone who believes their pain deserves eternal anger. Anyone who thinks forgiveness means forgetting what was done to them. Nelson Mandela's life challenges that belief, and quietly destroys it. When Nelson Mandela was sent to prison, he was not a peaceful icon. He was angry. He was defiant. He believed justice would come through resistance, through force if necessary. He entered prison carrying rage, and rage is heavy. Every morning he woke to the same walls, the same routine, the same silence. Years blurred together. Decades disappeared. Birthdays passed. Loved ones aged without him. A whole life unfolded somewhere else. Inside that cell, anger had nowhere to go. It bounced off concrete walls and echoed back into his chest. And that is when the real battle began, not against the system, not against his captors, but against himself. Because anger, when left alone long enough, turns inward. It consumes. It poisons. It convinces you that suffering is strength. There were days when hatred felt justified. How could it not? Everything had been taken. Freedom, dignity, choice. But slowly, painfully, Mandela realized something terrifying. If he left prison hating the men who put him there, then they would still be his jailers. The bars would follow him home. How many of us are doing the same thing? Carrying old wounds into new seasons. Letting past betrayals decide future peace. Replaying moments that already ended, as if suffering proves loyalty to the pain. Mandela faced the same temptation, the comfort of blame, the false power of resentment. Forgiveness does not erase injustice. It does not excuse cruelty. It does not pretend the pain wasn't real. Forgiveness is something far more radical. It is the decision to stop letting the past control the present. Mandela understood that freedom is not something someone gives you. It is something you claim, internally. First. In prison, he began to study his captors instead of hating them. He learned their language, their fears, their humanity. Not because they deserved it, but because he refused to be shaped by bitterness. Every day and then the moment came. The gates opened. Cameras flashed. The world waited to see what kind of man would step out. A monster created by injustice? A broken soul seeking revenge? Or something else entirely? Mandela walked free, and shocked everyone. He spoke of unity, of peace, of forgiveness. Not because he forgot what was done, but because he understood something deeper than revenge. He knew that hatred would destroy the future faster than injustice ever could. Chose discipline. That was the turning point. not just for a nation, but for the meaning of strength itself. Despair, reflection over rage. The prison stayed the same. But he did not. We are taught that holding on makes us strong. That letting go means losing. Mandela flipped that belief upside down. He showed the world that forgiveness is not submission. It is self-ownership. It is saying, you do not get to decide who I become. Forgiveness is not about them. It never was. It is about who you refuse to turn into. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison, but he refused to let one more day be stolen by hate. He walked out free because he had already unlocked the hardest door of all. And maybe that's the lesson we need most. You don't heal by reopening the wound every day. You heal by choosing peace over poison. Forgiveness is not forgetting the past, it is freeing the future. And the moment you let go of hate, is the moment you finally step out of your own prison. Because true freedom doesn't begin when the doors open. It begins when you decide not to carry the chains anymore.